radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening, Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio. For the masses. How you doing? Yeah, man, today's Thursday, April 4th, 2019. 94 days into the new year, just 271 days left. That's right. It's Thursday night, and as always, we are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planets. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? It's Thursday night. I gotta get ready because it's another Fader night with open lines all night long. It's your conversation, your calls, UFOs, contact, the paranormal, supernatural, time travel, ghost stories. Bring it, conspiracies, all night long. My favorite night of the week. I'm geared up. I'm ready to go. The call-in number is 747-228-2051. And in a minute, I'm going to set the stage for tonight's conversations. Okay, so think about that, and I will get to it in just a minute. All right? And before we get started, it was announced yesterday, maybe the evening of the night before. It certainly stirred up things yesterday. And that is John Burroughs is walking away. At least, you know, I'm hoping it's temporary, but he's walking away from the UFO research side of things. Okay, now before I go all teary-eyed and get into this and spend way too much time on it, he said everything very eloquently in his post and his article that he released. I do have it here. He sent it to me. And I'm thinking about reading it later on, maybe the last segment of the show, and so everybody can understand what's going on. And there you go. One of the very unique people on this planet to have witnessed something in Rendlesham Forest. Okay. And there you go. But John Burroughs, sadly, will not be broadcasting anymore here on KGRA. And it's unfortunate because what he brought forward was a couple of decades of diligent research and work. And not only that, but his health issues that were brought on by his experience those 2 evenings in Rendlesham Forest. So, John, from me to you, I did say to you I need a couple of days to let this soak in. Still really hasn't hit me. and it's something that will affect all of us. But then again, we also understand you've been doing this for a very long time, and I just hope that this is the bottom line. He's gonna go and spend some time with his family and his son, and get some fresh air into him, and then come back double ready. And that's what I'm hoping. All right, John. All right. He's probably not even listening right now. He's enjoying himself. So there you go. Okay. Let's move forward as quickly as we can here. I've got a lot to discuss tonight as we get ready to open up the phone lines. This week we had Alex Mistretta on Monday night with his report card about the paranormal and supernatural research into things in our community. That was Monday night. Tuesday night, Billy Carson was here with the Halls of Amenti, week 2 of our 4-part series. And then, of course, last night, Dr. Heather Lynn, and discussing her new book, Evil Archaeology. That was a barn burner of a show last night. That was just absolutely amazing. So we have all of that to discuss this week, too, as well. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. You can join conversation right there. Hashtag F2B is Fade to Black Questions. That, of course, is up in front of me. We have 2 chat rooms, one over at Spreaker and one over at KGRA, The Planet. You can also email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get straight to the breaking news. It was announced today that the Ecuadorian embassy in London is set to expel Julian Assange, and this is reportedly to be within hours. We will see what happens there. Using the corruption scandal leaks as its pretext, the government of Lenin Moreno will use the so-called INA Papers leak as the pretext to oust the whistleblower from the safety of the diplomatic mission. And apparently, the Ecuadorian government has already worked out Assange's expulsion with UK authorities, which will result in his arrest. So the countdown clock has started. It may happen during the show tonight. If anybody gets any breaking news, let me know here so I can announce it live on the air. Also today, it was announced that Eastern Libyan commander Khalifa Haftar has ordered his troops to move on the capital of Tripoli in Libya, the seat of the UN-backed government of Prime Minister Fayez al-Sarraj. In an audio address that was broadcast to his troops earlier today, Haftar ordered all army units to advance on Tripoli and free the capital from the militias and terrorists. Now, those are his words. The Thursday address came hours after Haftar's forces captured the town of Karhian, 60 miles south of Tripoli. Haftar also vowed to protect foreigners, civilians, and those surrendering to his troops, promising to ensure their safety and security. I was watching drone footage today of the line of trucks getting ready to move towards Tripoli, and it is pretty intimidating. Also, some boats and things that were on the back of semi-trucks. So there's going to be some naval activity, too. And the forces, to me, they don't look ragtag. They look well-funded, new, and fresh. This is going to be intense, and we may see the fall of Tripoli by tomorrow. So we shall see. Also today, the biggest divorce going on the planet right now, the Bezos. The Bezos divorce is now final. Mackenzie Bezos will keep 25% of the Bezos Amazon stock, or about $35 billion, making her now the 4th richest woman in the world. Jeff Bezos keeps the voting power that she had with her stock, and he also gets to keep the Washington Post and Blue Origin, his private space company. There you go. Unbelievable news today when it was announced that the person found wandering in Kentucky in through out a neighborhood is not Timothy Pitson, a young man who disappeared nearly 8 years ago when his mother committed suicide and left a note, a suicide note, saying that her son was left with someone and he would never be found. Well, that individual told authorities that he was the missing child from Aurora, Illinois, and described how he fled from his alleged kidnappers and ran across a bridge into Kentucky. But DNA results today prove that he is not the missing child. Actually, it's 23-year-old Brian Michael Reaney of Medina, Ohio. Strange, right? And today, we got some good news. Mick Jagger has completed his heart valve procedure in New York and is recovering. Doctors were able to access Jagger's heart valve through his femoral artery and are now monitoring the Rolling Stones frontman for any complications that could arise from the procedure, including excess bleeding. This past Sunday, the Stones announced that they were rescheduling their North American No Filter tour so that Jagger could have the procedure. So there you go. That's all the breaking news I have for now. You never know what's going to happen during the show tonight. But in the meantime, go and download the Surfer music streaming app. Download it now. You can download it by clicking on the banners at jimmychurchradio.com, which is very simple to do. And this is it. It's right here. This is it on my phone. And this is what it looks like. Just open it up, Surfer Music Streaming app. And then it immediately goes to your types of music. All the genres are right there. Just click on it and start listening. No email, no disclosure, no privacy information, nothing. All you have to do is download it and start listening to music today. Surfer Music Streaming app. You can go straight to surfr.fm. That is surfer.fm. Our next event is coming up next month. It is Contact in the Desert, May 31st through June 3rd in Indian Wells, Palm Springs, California, at the Renaissance Indian Wells Resort and Spa. Tickets and info are at contactinthedesert.com. And then right after that is our 2019 Soltech 2.0. That's right. It's over the July 4th weekend at Sunrise Ranch in Loveland, Colorado. And you can sign up for tickets and info at SoulTechGathering.com. And, of course, you can click on the banners for Soltech over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. I got today, let me see if I can pull it up here on my phone, and I will post pictures of it. Rita, post the pictures of our new cases for the, here it is right here. Check it out. There is the new case, backpacks for our night vision goggles for Hoffman's Optics. I'm holding it up right there. See it right there? Very cool. And you can go and get your Jimmy Church model, right? The deep blue at hoffmansoptics.com. Click on the banners at jimmychurchradio.com. Get your night vision goggles. Get ready because we're going to be doing Sky Watch, Night Watch all summer long at Contact in the Desert and over at Soltech. So you want to show up with your very own Jimmy Church model, man, and check out your very own green chrome balls. HoffmansOptics.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. It is just $2 per month. Click on the banners over at JimmyChurchRadio.com and also become a FADERNIGHT, an official FADERNIGHT in our membership section on the site. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Robert Downey Jr. is 53 years old. Now, okay, Iron Man, I get that. I get all the, yes. But less than zero. Less than zero. That's the flick. Hugo Weaving today is 58, and Lord of the Rings and everything. Yeah, and I understand all of that too, but he will always be Agent Smith. Also today, comedian David Cross is 54 years old. Our dead guy's birthday today, Heath Ledger. 1979 to 2008, died at the age of 28. Known for his role as the Joker in The Dark Knight, of course. His death was voted the top entertainment story of 2008. His meteoric rise was also attributed to his acting in 10 Things I Hate About You, The Patriot, A Knight's Tale, and you know what? And Brokeback Mountain. But I'm going to go back to A Knight's Tale. That's a movie that people don't think about. They don't bring that to the top of the list. And I'm here to tell you, A Knight's Tale is an amazing movie, and Queen does the soundtrack. That's all I'm saying. All right, on this day in history, OTD, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. is fatally shot while on the balcony outside his second-story room at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. Fader fact. Here you go. Now, when I whip out a fader fact, these are done with intention. It's to make you smarter, right? That's the first thing. And the second thing, you really want to be able, when you whip out facts like this, you want to make sure that they're vetted, they're solid, because you don't want somebody to call you out and come back and go, dude, remember that fact? It didn't work, right? Okay? All right? But listen to this one. 66 countries have declared their independence from the British Empire. Right? But that's not what's most important. What is important is at least one country is celebrating independence from England, their Independence Day, 52 days of the year. And that is your fader fact. Think about that for a second. That's trippy, isn't it? It's like one every 5 days. There's a country on this planet celebrating their independence from Britain. That's insane to me. Tonight is another Fader Night, open lines all night long. The new call-in number is 747-228-2051. I've been watching the phone lines ring for the last 20 minutes. I'm going to open up the phone lines after the break, so you guys just relax. All right, today was a strange day for me. I want you to follow. I'm going to set the tone for tonight's show. I want you to listen to this. And it pays to go and do a little research. What am I talking about? Listen to this. In 1972, I was standing in the field that was in the front of our elementary school in Waukegan, Illinois. The school was Clearview Elementary. And yes, you can find it on Google Earth. It's easy to search Clearview Elementary, Waukegan, Illinois. It'll pop up right there. Go to satellite view. Boom. You can see everything that I'm going to talk about right now. You can also see the apartment. And you can, if I told you where, I'm Berwick right there. I could show you my bedroom windows. Remember the bedroom that I don't remember sleeping in? Yeah, that bedroom. I could show it to you. But anyway, enough of that. Check this out. In the fields around the school, they were massive. And when you look at it on Google Earth, you can see how these fields stretch all the way across and around the school and out in the baseball fields and it just goes all the way back to these housing additions heading south. But anyway, it's massive. And when I go back and look at it today, it's as massive as what I remember. But you know how it is when you're little, right? It seems bigger, and then you go back but no, these fields were really, really big, and they were always full of kids playing. And I mean, always, it was great. And I could walk out of my apartment and just go across the street and kids and things, and that's what I would do, right? And this one summer day, I was out there doing my thing when something caught my eye in the sky, and I was facing the elementary school. It's up on this hill, across this field. And something catches my eye right in front of the apartment. And I look up, and right there, right above me, not very high, it's like right there, was a Zeppelin. Okay? A Zeppelin. It was so close that I could make out every detail. And I heard the engines. I could see the ridges of the airframe. And it was going from my right to my left. It was going from north to south, like heading towards Chicago. And I was 9 years old at the time. And I was totally into planes. And I was into space. And I was spending all of my time drawing pictures. And I really knew my stuff. I had my favorite planes, my favorite rockets, my favorite astronauts. And I would draw everything. And one of the things I used to draw was the Hindenburg. So I knew what I was looking at when I looked up. It was like the Hindenburg. And it was right there. And I could clearly remember counting the engines. You know, that there were 3 on this side, or there was like 2 and 1 in the middle. I clearly remember that. And the shape of the tails and the windows and the gondola, you know, I remembered everything. And so these fields that I was standing in, which go across, and the school is here, and this thing, it's big, man. It's right in front of me, and it's cruising down, and I run across the fields chasing it all the way across, and then eventually it just went out of sight and was gone. Now, I remember this whole event like it was yesterday. I mean, it was vivid, and it was silver, and the sun, and the engines, and the sound, you know. It was unreal. It was beautiful. And yes, you know, before it was huge. And thinking about it now, it's my guess that the ship was flying probably at around 1,000 to 2,000 feet. It was close. It was right here. Right. And I don't know how else to describe it, but it was very, very low, and I could see and hear everything. And so today, for some reason, this memory popped back into my head. And I was sitting here in the bunker, and I sat and I kind of enjoyed the moment as I was recalling everything. And I thought, wow, you know what? I'm going to look up airships in the U.S., and maybe I could find the actual ship that I saw that summer day back in 1972. And this is where things get really strange. First, there are 2 kinds of airships. 2. You got rigid and you got blimps. Right? And we all know about blimps, Goodyear blimps, you know, okay? We all know what a blimp looks like. And I'll get back to that in a bit. What I saw was a rigid airship, like the Hindenburg, with the ridges, and that they was the Hindenburg. What I found out today is that there were no rigid airships in the United States in 1972. In fact, the last rigid airship in the U.S. was the USS Los Angeles, and it was decommissioned in 1932. And dismantled in its hangar in 1939. There were 2 other rigid airships at that time. The Akron class. And one was the USS Akron, and the other was the USS Macon. The Akron crashed in 1933, gone, and the Macon crashed in 1935, gone. That's it. There were no more after that in the United States. So the question is, what did I see? This blew my mind today. I was looking for answers, but there's more. After my research, I was tripping. I was tripping out. Very strange feeling. I saw what I saw, and nothing is going to change that. But then we have the facts, and the facts are the facts. The U.S. Navy halted their programs after the Macon crash, and the Hindenburg was the last rigid airship to fly in the U.S., and we all know that it crashed back in 1937. And the Hindenburg crash, that was the end of the rigid airship era. Nothing flew after that. Could there be a simple explanation? What did I see in the sky that day? I don't know. I mean, sure, it's possible that the U.S. Navy had a secret rigid airship that they were testing. You know, Great Lakes Naval Station is right down the street from our apartment, so maybe that's it, but there's nothing about this in the historical record. United States Navy stopped everything through to this day. Now, they flew blimps, and blimps are different. That's not what I saw. I know that there's going to be some out there that are going to email me and and, with their fantastic knowledge of aircraft, and say that it is impossible for me to have seen it when they simply did not exist at that time. And I understand that, but that doesn't change what I saw. If the Navy or our Defense Department didn't have anything like it since 1935, destroyed the Los Angeles in 1939, right? There can only be one explanation, and I don't know what else to do. I must have stepped into some kind of time vortex on the Clearview Elementary playground. Like taking me back from 1972 to 1930, when the USS Los Angeles actually flew from New Jersey to its namesake here in Los Angeles, California. There are photographs of that. I'll post it during the break, which might have taken it straight over Waukegan, Illinois. I don't know. Got something in my throat. I cannot explain it. The vision, and here's the thing. Something in my throat. The vision is so clear. Literally something in my throat. Something doesn't want me to tell this story. The vision was so clear. And when you see something with the ridges, and you can see the engines, and you can hear it, and it's low. It's low. It's not up high, for your imagination. This was like right here. I don't know. I was blown away today. I was blown away so much that I continued to dig, and I continued to dig, and I couldn't find anything anywhere. This is what I would like all of you to do. I have told this story on the air before about the sighting. What I didn't know was the research, which I did today. If anybody out there can find anything about a rigid airship, right, owned by us. I mean, Germany wasn't, nobody else in the world was doing it. It stopped after the Hindenburg crash. If anybody out there can find any evidence of us having some secret program, or there was one rigid airship that survived, something that was privately owned, I don't know, but I could not find it. Look up history, any article on rigid airships, and they're all going to tell you the exact same thing. I have no explanation for it. All I know is I saw it, and nothing will change that. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. It is open lines all night long. It is Thursday night. It is your conversation. Let's do it. UFOs, time travel, supernatural, paranormal, Bigfoot, life after death, ghost stories, bring it, conspiracies, everything tonight. Open lines. 747-228-2051. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back with your phone calls right after this short break. Stay with me.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey folks, guess what the number one phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fader night. Open lines. Open lines all night long. 747-228-2051. What do you think about that? I saw what I saw. You know, it's funny. I'm already opening up 1, 2, 3 emails during the break. And no, not the Goodyear blimp. Oh, man, not the Goodyear blimp. And see, this is the thing. And look, if you're on hold, stay right there. I'll be getting to that in a second. I want everybody to understand the Goodyear blimp. We all know what that looks like. And I'm not even sure in 1972 if the Goodyear blimp was out. It might have been. But what I saw was a rigid airship, #1, and it was close, #1. #2, it had engines mounted on the side, loud too, just cruising right by. And that's what I saw. The Goodyear blimp, and I don't even need to see a picture of the Goodyear blimp. The Goodyear blimp doesn't have, engines mounted on its side. It doesn't. It's got like two little, plus the Goodyear blimp is small. Okay, it's small. The and they're mounted on the gondola. There's nothing on the side. That's not rigid. This was a rigid airship. It was like the Hindenburg. I don't remember swastikas on the tail, but that's it. It's trippy to me that I found out today that the last one, the USS Los Angeles, was dismantled in its hangar in New Jersey in 1939. I was like, you've got to be, this does not make any sense. So I was desperately trying to find anything of any sort, and quite simply, they just didn't exist and still don't. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. All right. Let's start this evening off. Here we go. Caller number 1. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. You.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Who's this?
This is Terry Slack calling from Australia.
Terry calling from Australia.
Yes, I've been here for 18 years. I'm married to a nice Aussie. Anyway, I love your show, and I'm about to say something, but I'm really nervous. I listened to your show yesterday, and it sort of talks about evil stuff. And, oh, God, here goes. My father was a child trafficker, and we were raised tied to our cribs. I don't want to get into too much, but it all ties into Bush. We're Freeman family. The other side of my family that all lives in America. My mother left my father because something evil happened so bad she was going to take us off a cliff. And she changed her mind once she got up the mountain in Northern California.
Right.
And she changed her mind. We were about 2.5. And I remember being in the hospitals and them trying to separate my twin sister and I. I can't speak for my twin because she's there in the Mormon church and she doesn't want to talk about this stuff, including my family. But I want to speak out. And I can talk to somebody later. I just don't know who to talk to. My father is still alive. But my husband went into psychosis in 2004 when I tried to get him put away in prison. And the FBI wouldn't help me. The sheriff, as soon as I mentioned my uncle, Charlie Gage, they said Charlie Gage, as in Gage, because he murdered his wife, which is my cousin. And that was the last time we saw him, was the day at night of the murder. Blah, blah, blah. I can't talk. Anyway, I call later to talk about this stuff. It all ties in with my rich Freeman family who owns the middle of the Snake River Canyon and knew Walt Disney and knew Walt and did all the electronics for the Opera House in L.A. as a hobby, and he also did all of Disneyland. And but they all had a creepy side. They were all pedophiles, and my cousins were tied to their beds. So I'm scared.
Yeah, I understand that, Terry. I understand that. It's okay. A couple of quick comments, though. If
I have proof on everything.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about.
He drove.
I want to know
the ritual stuff.
Well, I want to know how you're doing, and it sounds like your sister is safe, right? Right, your sister is safe.
Yeah. Well, yes, she is.
Okay.
She is, and I have a daughter there with 2 grandchildren, and but they're safe. I taught her.
We just lost you.
I taught her how to do codes with me. If she was in a bad position, which she used, she was a good girl. She's always been a good girl. And thank God she lives on a farm and they grow their own vegetables and, all that stuff. But anyway, they live right next to Mount Shasta, kind of in Redding. And
wow. We lost you, Terry, and you're calling from Australia, and I don't know what to say. If you can hear me, call me back, because I would like to. I could tell that there was something going on with the phone call. So again, Terry, call me back, and I will put you at the front of the line. But I could hear the interference coming in, and then suddenly everything just dropped. So Terry, if you can hear me, call me back. Okay. All right. Let's get back to the phones. I'll keep my eye out for you. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. How's it going? This is Sean.
Hey, Sean. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Not feeling too good to Terry there.
That was a pretty heavy phone call, and I could hear the interference starting, and she probably didn't hear it, but that was pretty bizarre. So we'll wait.
Oh yeah, it reminds me of Kathy O'Brien's story all over again.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, we'll wait for Terry to come back, and I'm just glad she's safe, and her sister.
Yeah.
Making the run for the Mormon Church is probably a good thing, and probably, if you're gonna go, if you need safety, you know what, the Mormon Church is not a bad idea. I'm serious about that too, as well. Salt Lake City.
Maybe she'll call back in and tell us some more.
Yeah. I'm hoping she will. What's on your mind, Sean?
Not much, just loving life, but you said anything goes, so I was just going to change the subject and head towards Bigfoot real quick.
Go.
All right. Webcam footage caught figures that are pretty huge in the background, trailing wildlife, and, I've seen a lot of Bigfoot blob videos in my day, but when it comes to, evidence, the closest thing we got besides the passion film are these brief glimpses of something that looks like either, Shaquille O'Neal in a Chewbacca costume out in the middle of the woods in the wintertime,
right,
or, maybe some type of creature that the Indians have been telling us about for centuries.
I have a piece of footage that I can't play, but I'll describe it to you. I have there's a man. I can't really disclose who it is without asking his permission, because he's known in the UFO community, and one of the things that he does is he's got professional drones, right? And I posted videos in the past of him shooting us with his drone footage. He's really good. Well, anyway, he was down in Texas, and was down in Galveston, and in Galveston, it was after one of the big storms and hurricanes. There was some flooding and there was some stuff. So he was down there with his family, and I believe with his daughter and his son and somebody else. And they went out and they were walking down a road in Galveston where all of these oil wells are, right? And so very remote, but there were no trees. Okay, it's like grass and it's wide open. You can see the ocean on one side and this gravel road. And as they were walking, and they were video taping with their phones. This wasn't with his high-res drone cameras. Anyway, up in front of them, and you could see it, and especially when you enlarge it, up in front of them, and I'm going to guess and say a quarter of a mile, right, 400 yards in front of them, is a friggin' Bigfoot walking in the middle of the road. And, wow. And it's walking in front of them. And so as they walk, he walks. They stop, he stops. And then at one point they start running, and Bigfoot starts running. And so they never really get closer to him. And but they're holding the cell phone camera up, and it's just the craziest footage you've ever seen. So anyway, in the end, I can't remember if he goes left or right, but he runs off into the brush and disappears. They get up to where they think the spot where he was and kind of stop and film and look around. There's nothing there. But it is some of the now I know this guy, right? I know him. I know him pretty well. And this footage is nuts. And he has chosen not to bring the footage forward because his children are in the footage. And I think it's his daughter that did the cell phone footage. I think that is the case here. So I can't release it, but I've got it right here on my desktop, and I've had it for a couple of years. And I go back and I look at it every once in a while, and I am just blown away. And it's weird because when he turns around and he looks at the camera, his face is black, and there's no.
Yeah, they say their face is all black, and they're just like covered with hair on their whole body.
Yeah. This guy, there is nothing that you can discern. There's nothing that you can make out from the top of his head to his feet. You can't. There's nothing. It's bizarre. It's just like a black shape. Yeah,
that's why I think they blend in so well in their environment. I mean, come on, they're the natural ninjas of the world.
Well, and the other thing is, this isn't in the woods. This is in the oil fields in Galveston. It's pretty bizarre. And on both sides of the road, it's like tall, maybe 4 or 5 foot sawgrass, right? And then like sandy hills and this sawgrass and these oil wells.
But you can see him clearly. You can make out the man-like figure.
It's well, imagine. See, you have to remember. You have to blow it up because he's a quarter mile away. So a quarter mile away, this figure is like an 1/8 inch tall in this video. Even on full screen on my monitors, he's a long ways away. But you could clearly see him walking and running and walking and running. But when they never get closer than that. But when I've taken many video stills, right, as close as we can get, and done a screen capture and blown it up. I've done it in my video software and blow it up, and it's just a black figure. And at one point,
sounds intriguing.
At one point, he stops in the road because they have stopped, and you can see him. He turns around and he's standing there. He's just standing there, and I've blown up that image as big as I can get it, and there it is. There's nothing to make out.
I used to live in Alaska for many years, and I never saw any Bigfoot type creature, but I mean I've seen some pretty big wildlife. But they're saying the people that have had reputable sightings that these things you can't even grasp the size of them. You think huge, but no, they're enormous. Like.
Right.
2 bears stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, I agree with that, Sean. And when I think about one of our friends that had his sighting up at ECETI, he said it was taller than the van that was parked next to our I forget what we were driving at the time, which would make this guy like 8 foot tall. Yeah, and he said he looked up at him. So there you go. I totally agree. I think I got Terry calling in. All right, let me get to this. And Sean, thank you for the phone call,
Happy
man.
Fader night. You have a great weekend and be safe and be well.
Thank you so much, Sean. Back at you. Go back, Lee Tepe. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Bigfoot. All right, let's see. Let's see if I've got this right. Terry, is this you?
Yes, this is me.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm calling with a calling card, so it's hard to see the code.
Yeah, that's okay.
My phone number.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, but I got you back. That was weird. It just dropped. Okay,
yeah,
so.
I know. I'm used to it.
But it sounds, what my comments were, that it sounds like you're safe today and your sister is safe and your family is safe. And, I'm sorry that you went through with what you went through and you want to bring this story out. But what's more important than all of that is that you're safe and so forth.
Well, see, I have a problem. I do have a problem, and he's married to a Crowley, and she is evil. She worked at an elderly folks home, And she thought it was funny to tell each one of them that she was going to suffocate them at one night. She didn't know when. And that if they told anybody, that she would just suffocate them anyway, and there would be nothing they could do. She thought it was the funniest thing. She's so evil. She would take a shotgun to anybody. And my sister keeps calling me saying, oh, they want to talk to me. And my husband went into psychosis at the same time. Our house became haunted as I was trying to get the sheriff and email them all. And everything was just backfiring. And I managed to get the ritual stuff where my sister stole it and went in his house. That's a long story. But
wow.
He's only, they're only 2 hours away. I just want to get this out just because I want to speak out, because I have cousins who it just falls from the tree. I've got a cousin I have to worry about, but and they shipped him in the Mormon church his siblings tried to tell on him, and they shipped him to on a mission and shipped him to the UK. And so, but everything's going against me when I keep trying to talk to anybody. I talked to Richard Dolan and freaked him out so bad that he got scared. So I just thought I'll leave him alone. The nightmares, Freddy Krueger nightmares started coming on. And I'm trying to take care of my husband, who was in psychosis, heavy psychosis for 7 months, hearing the gates of hell and telling me the CIA. And we all know where that all goes with targeting and all that. It's taken me, I've been researching since 2004, since my husband got sick, trying to find out the meaning of life and why I've gone through so much. And every time I try to go to America and see my family, I get knocked back by something. And I tried to write a book to get it out. The guy ripped me off for $80,000. The private investigator, I found out, knew my sister when she was working as a security guard for Pelican Bay Prison. And then she worked for Bush. She guarded the White House, and Bush called her when her son had cancer, and they put him on speakerphone so everybody could hear that when he was in power. And there's just so much, and now it's like, save me, and I won't return calls. But I'm getting
You're in Australia. You're in Australia now.
Nervous.
You're in Australia now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a pretty large Australian audience, and this is what I would suggest, without exposing who you are or things like that. But I would post to our audience on Twitter. You can do that anonymously, right? You could just say, "Hey, I'm the person that called in, living in Australia."
Okay.
And get and use the hashtag F2B when you do it on Twitter, and reach out to our Australian audience, because there are many. We have a huge Australian audience, and there may be somebody in Australia out there that can assist you. And what you need to do, obviously, is there's things about this story that don't need to be addressed on the air, but you can do that privately with somebody off of the show. And I think that's a great idea. So that's what I would do, Terry. Is I would post on Twitter hashtag F2B and just say, "Hey, I'm the person that reached out to Jimmy on the show from Australia, and what Fadernauts that are here that live in Australia can I talk to and take things where you need to go." Yeah, that's what I would do.
I haven't had friends in going on 13 years. I'm in a foreign country, and I take care of my husband, who had to retire. We had owned our own business, and so it's been kind of hard because there's certain things I sort of guard him from, and because he still struggles.
Right.
So,
Right.
Anyway, yes.
I totally get it.
I won't.
I totally get it,
I won't take
Terry.
any more of your time.
No, what's really cool is that you reached out on this show. That's the first thing. But the second thing, this audience is vast and it's big and it's a family. And if you haven't had friends in 14 years, well, you've made a few thousand tonight. So think about that. And
makes you want to cry.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
You know, this isn't the first time this has happened on this show. Trust me. Okay, so post up in Twitter. See, I'm looking right here. Dan,
and I didn't scare anybody.
Dan just posted. He said, "Plenty of us Aussies here." See, just right now. Okay, Morella just posted.
Oh, cool.
Morella just posted, "I'm here for any Australian faders." Okay, so it's all popping up right now. So get over on Twitter.
Cheers, did they say?
Okay, and Terry, use hashtag F2 and B.
2.
Hashtag F2B. Okay? All right, now be safe out there and enjoy the rest of your night or day, whichever it is. It's 11 o'clock over there in Australia. But have a great day, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
And it's all good, Terry.
Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And see, that's the beauty of Fade to Black right there. Love this. I love Thursday nights and this family and what we've built and watching everybody here, Australia in the house. I see it. Lizzie just posted the Aussie Fadernauts. I don't think there's anything better. You know what? If you think about it, of course, everybody wants to reference Los Angeles or the United States with Fade to Black. But let me tell you something. Canada, the UK, the Netherlands, Sweden, Australia, Germany, Italy, Mexico, Brazil. Was it last night we had the call from the Caribbean? Yeah, that's why I love this show. I got to take a break right here. I see all the calls coming in. I'm putting everybody on hold. Now, listen, when you hear my voice, when you call in, that's one thing. That's stage number one. Stage number two is hearing me say, don't go anywhere. It's going to go silent. That's it. And when it goes silent, be ready when I go, hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You just be ready to go. Those are the rules. It's Thursday night, Fader Night. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with me.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fadernauts, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied, but you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with You fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official FADERNIGHT by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fader Night. Amazing show so far. It's your phone calls, your conversation. Eric Stitt. I love you, man. You got some talent. I'm serious, man. Put it on the right side. On the right side, right there in the lower right-hand corner, Fade to Black with our phone number right there. Maybe even Fader Night, something like that. Because that, man, I'm going to post the crap out of that. That is an amazing shot right there. The surfing alien. Cool. Man, that is amazing. All right, let's get back to the phones. Let's go straight back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Slowhand Dan from Kalamazoo.
Slowhand Dan from Kalamazoo. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah. Pretty good, man. I got a blackface story. I was reminded when the guy started talking about it earlier.
A blackface story. What happened?
Well, I'm not talking about guitar amplifiers.
No, I
cool
see.
too.
See, I thought you were going there. And I thought, okay, I've got a blackface Fender story that I blew up. You know what? I'm going to give you the 10-second version of it, right? I'm down in Panama, and I traded. This guy calls me up, and he's going to trade me some guitars for one of my guitars, and he's got a Fender champ blackface, right? And I was like, oh man, all right. So I go over and we do the deal. And I get a guitar and this Fender blackface, and it was a Bradley Les Paul custom copy that were all the rage in the mid-'70s. So I come home, I go in, and I plug another amplifier into the Fender blackface, and I go out of the speaker out. I turn it on, I play a chord. It was amazing, this distortion, and I watched the Fender catch on fire. It caught on fire in my bedroom. And I'm watching the smoke rise out of the back of it. And you know the red light on the front of the Fender? It just slowly went out. And I unplug it from the wall, and everything melted. And
oh man!
So I did that. I did the deal. My dad comes running in because he drove me over to do this deal. The thing was melted. I literally played one chord, and I melted the amp. It never. I don't even know what happened to it. So
unless you want to stick with a solid state.
There you go. Okay, Dan, what's your blackface story?
All right, so real quick, when I was 13, I used to be able to walk up to like any deck of cards and pull out the ace of spades.
Okay.
I stopped doing that because it freaked me out. I just stopped doing it. It turned out the ace of spades is the death card. Later on, I had this dream that had some themes in it that I discovered later in the occult, but at the time I didn't even know that. In this dream, I came up on this like witch, and then this horse comes up fast as lightning, man. And like they were both trying to figure out how I got to her without him knowing about it. He gives her a pitcher of water. She hands me a glass of water out of this pitcher and shares like all these like mysteries with me or something like that, I guess. And then tells me I can't remember them when I wake up, but I could keep them in my heart. That was just like the coolest dream I ever had.
Sounds real.
I know, right?
Oh man,
spooky.
And you were able to remember it.
Yeah, and then when later I studied the tarot cards when I was 17, there was a story about the high priestess being bought a pitcher of water by death, and I never knew that.
See, that's what I'm talking about, right there, right? And what does that tell you?
It's just creepy.
Yeah, right. I mean, what does that tell you? What kind of guitar do you play?
I've got the Strat right now. I'm thinking about getting Epiphone Casino or maybe something with some P90s.
Oh, you're going P90. Okay. You know.
I'll go ahead.
One guitar that I kind of got my eye on right now, but if I get it, I would have to. I want to heavily modify it, but it's the Gibson BFG Les Paul because you can get that with P90s.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's cheap, man. It's like $600, and it's a real Les Paul. A BFG. Gibson BFG. I'm going to look into that. Yep, BFG Les Paul.
$600.
Yep. Watch Twitter light up right now. Everybody's going to show pictures of it. It's got this really cool, it's got a hollowed out mahogany body, so it's lightweight.
Oh, wow.
And it's got a carved maple top, but the maple is unfinished. You have to see it, man. It is a really, really cool guitar.
Does it have a tremolo?
No. Nope. It's a Les Paul.
Okay.
It's a Les Paul. But P90s, man.
Cool.
Yeah. And you can get it with P90s.
P90s. That's what I really wanted is a Les Paul with P90s, but I couldn't find one.
Yep. It's called I'm telling you right now, Les Paul BFG. So no telling what BFG stands for, but use your own imagination. Okay?
Right.
Hey, Dan, you have a great night, my man. Thank you for the phone call.
Thank you. All right, talk to you later.
Have a great night. Oh, I forgot to ask him. Well, he kind of said that he doesn't go and do the pulling of the ace out of the deck. That's a pretty cool talent right there. Something that you want to do at a party. You know, any deck of cards, pull out the ace, but it is the death card. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Good evening, Jimmy. This is Mike in Montana.
Hi, Mike in Montana. How are you?
Pretty good. It's kind of interesting that you just talked to a guy from Kalamazoo, and I'm going to kind of follow up on that a little bit. I was the lead machinist for Gibson in '94 during the 100th anniversary
Oh, were you really at the Kalamazoo factory?
No, the one in Nashville.
Oh, the one in Nashville. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, the factory there was on Massman Drive. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you real quick how I got hired. It's kind of a funny story.
At Gibson?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me hear it.
On Election Day, 93, I guess November 3rd or 4th, I can't remember the exact day, but the building that I worked at, 5 hours, finished my shift 5 hours earlier, the building went up in flames and burnt to a crisp. So I was out of a job. I was a machinist, but been with that company for 5 or 6 years. Anyway, knowing I'd had to probably go to Nashville, it was like 70 miles away. So my buddy and I, the two of us worked night shift. We went downtown, Printer's Alley in Nashville, and they had a Gibson blues-sponsored festival at one of the little bars in Printer's Alley. It was like an amateur night for blues people. And me and my buddy sat up there on the top balcony, and it was like 3 tables there. We were in the center one. We'd been drinking hard and heavy. We built a pyramid of, beer cans, and this guy and it was 3 guys who was in a woman. This guy in a suit, and there was a guy kind of dressed, casual, and then there was another guy that looked like he had probably the only one that really worked for a living, and then the woman was kind of in a dress, and we thought, they look out of place because, everybody in here is wearing jeans, T-shirts, you know how places get.
Right.
Little bar, and they looked really out of place. And I looked over and they're staring at me, and I'm looking at my buddy. I said, I think they're looking at us. And he looks over and he says something crude to the guy, and he just grinned and just ignored us. We were heckling the bands. Long story short, about an hour's worth of heckling. Finally, this one guy got tired of it. He says, "You think you better come down here and prove it?" So my buddy is a blues harmonica player, and I play Les Pauls now, but back then I used to play Strats all the time. So I go down there and I grab this guy's Les Paul off his shoulder, and he lets me play it. And my buddy breaks out the harmonica, and we just bust out a few jams, and the crowd goes wild. So we go back up, and we're hammered. I mean, we're drunk. We go back up to the stool, table there, laughing. The old man is looking at us, and he says, "You got some big bronze ones, right?"
Right.
And I started laughing at it. I said, "Yeah, whatever." And he says, "Here, take my card. I want to hire you." And I just looked at my buddy, and I said, "I ain't work for this guy." And I threw it back at him. I said, "I ain't interested." He says, No, seriously." He says, "I want to hire you." So he throws the card on the table, and he leaves. Him and his other people leave. We close out the place, go back home. My buddy had picked up the card, but I didn't, I was drunk. I didn't pay no attention. Next morning, I'm laying on the couch, face down, still holding a cold or stale beer in my hand. And my buddy comes out, and he's looking at this card, and he says, "Get up, man." And I'm like, "What?" He says, "You got to call this guy." I said, "Who is it?" I said, "The guy that gave the card." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, who is it?" And mind you, we were drunk. We said some really rude, crude things, to this guy and his friends. Turns out it was Henry Juskowitz, the owner of Gibson. He was one of the
That's a great story. So it was Henry Gibson, the grandson.
The plant manager.
Yeah.
The plant manager.
Right.
The plant manager, the head engineer, and the second head engineer, which we had just made some crude comments to the night before. And I even asked the woman out.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you, how long did you end up working for Gibson?
I ended up going through 94, but the thing is when you build 100,000 guitars, you just get tired of it. I mean, it wears, the newness wears off real fast.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You do about 500 a night.
What did you think about them going through all of this bankruptcy stuff last year? And all the quality control issues, did it make you sad?
Yeah, it did, because when I first got there, I was a real machinist. They had machine operators. They had an Ekstrom. I don't know if you know what that is. It's EKSTROM. They're like a wood routing company.
Yeah, I know who they are. Sure.
they had an old Allen Bradley controller. This thing was as big as a cabinet. It was huge. I mean, that was the computer that ran this thing, and it was sloppy. So the reason they hired me, because they bought a brand new multi-million-dollar four-headed machine with 4 auxiliary heads, 2 pallets on it, so they interchanged on their own once they were set to be run. I would say the quality went up at that point when they bought that machine. Now, during the entire time that I ran that machine, it was never crashed, never. I mean, that machine ran like, I made all their fixtures. I did the layout on the table. Me and the head engineer came up with ways of doing things that cut so much time down. The rest of the plant hated me because I could make things so fast. They couldn't keep up.
Who owned Gibson? Who owned Gibson at that time? Were they still Norlin?
No, it was Henry Juskowitz was CEO and president, I guess.
Okay, this is before he sold it to Norlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And remember, I thought that was, that would have been about 94. Yeah.
Well, see, Henry was, I believe, he was born in South America, but he was Polish background, I believe. And when he bought the company, he anticipated the 100th anniversary. He wanted to gear up for it because he bought it like in the mid '80s or late '80s. Then when I got there, he hired me personally because I was the only machinist he knew, and so because I really did know how to machine and program and all that, I set up everything and I tightened the tolerances on everything to exactly what the blueprint was. I actually had copies of every Les Paul, every SG, every solid body that came through there. I had actual blueprints, and I have rolls of them at home.
Do you still have them? Like the Flying V and the Explorer? You had all the original blueprints?
I had copies of the originals that were printed out, like 3 foot across,
right,
2.5 feet high. And those copies were the manufacturing copies.
Now,
they go to the
on
the floor.
Mike, before I let you go, I got to ask you a couple of quick guitar questions. How many Les Pauls do you have now?
Me, personally, I have a '94 Centennial with the diamonds and gold and all that.
Right.
I have a '94 Classic.
Right.
Honey Burst.
Right.
I have actually one of the first Dobros that we built when we bought Dobro. So I have one of the first ones of those. And I just got another, I just got an EC30 Blues King delivered yesterday.
Wow.
That I have been blazing on all day long. So I'm just having the time of my life. Even if it's late in life, I'm still having a blast.
You've seen my Honey Burst hanging on the wall, right?
Yeah, I see it. I always wondered, what year is that?
That's a 07.
07. I might have to send you a solid built 94 one time.
Mike, I would enjoy that, man. You know it, and it would be proudly displayed. Enjoy the rest of your night, my man.
All right, buddy. You too.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, Gibson went through a whole lot, and over the last year, they bought Tascam, and as everybody knows, I'm a Tascam artist. And when they went through all of that restructuring, Tascam was left alone. So that's why Tascam is still fine, and everything looked like it was going to go south last year. But I guess Gibson has made it through, and they're building once again. Okay, look, I'm letting everybody know. If you go on hold, it's just going to go silent just for a minute. And then when you hear my voice going, yo, you're live, that's what's happening. Okay, so here we go. Watch this. Yo, you're live. You're live right now. Who's calling? You're live. 3, 2, 1. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna go to Naptown. You're live right now. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Tim in Indianapolis.
How you doing, Tim, in Indianapolis? What part of town?
The west side of town. Last time I talked to you, we talked about high school monikers, and you're a Warren Central Warrior. I'm a Northwest Space Pioneer.
Yeah, there you go. Right on, man.
This will fit right into your musical theme, the last two callers. In 1968, April 4th, Bobby Kennedy was supposed to have a presidential campaign rally here in Indianapolis, and I was in the band, the drummer in the band that was supposed to play there. But he canceled the gig because he went down and gave this historical speech that at 17th and Broadway, there's a national historical marker there now that they dedicated last year. But it starts beginning. Me and three other fellow space pioneers, we had a little rock band. We got pretty good. We had a standing gig at a place called the Servicemen Center downtown Indianapolis. It was a USO facility where they had dances for the traveling soldiers on the weekends. And one night we were playing there, and they came to us and asked us if we wanted to volunteer to play at the Richard Nixon presidential campaign rally they were holding at Southport High School. So we said, yeah. We put our hat or our name in the hat, and we got the gig. And we were supposed to play an hour. We were one of three bands. We were set up outside by the main entrance. We were supposed to play an hour before the speeches. We're out there playing, and about done, and the limos roll up. Out rolls Pops Richard Nixon. We finish the song. He comes up, grabs the mic, starts thanking everybody, shakes everybody's hand, shook my hand. I'll never forget it. And then he goes in and gives this big speech, presidential campaign rally speech. That was the Republican gig. I know how we got that. To this day, I don't know how we got the Bobby Kennedy gig. But we did somehow. But this is what they told us. We're going to be the only band there. We're going to be on stage with Bobby Kennedy. And it's at the classiest place in the state called the Indiana Roof Ballroom. And not only that, we're going to get paid $200, which was a fortune back then. Anyway, the day of the gig, it's a thing you pull up on street level, you got to go up an elevator. My dad used to haul us around in a pickup truck. He was our manager. Pull up. I'm anxious. I grab the bass drum pedal. I head for the elevator. Get up there, and it's chaos. People running around everywhere. It's a totally different vibe than the happy party atmosphere of the Nixon campaign. People are serious. Anyway, I head for the main stage, plop down the bass drum, hook up the pedal, kick it a few times. It sounds like a bomb going off in there. People stop what they're doing. This guy comes up. I'm tuning the drum. This guy comes up, waving his arms, saying, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm the drummer. We're here to set up." And he says, "Well, I'm sorry to tell you, you should have been told. We're not having music tonight. No bands, just speeches." And I said, "Yeah, we're supposed to play an hour before the speeches." And he said, "No, we're not even having that, just speeches." And I was halfway arguing with him. Finally, I told him, well, it was a paying gig, and he said, no problem, reached in his pocket, pulled out $200 bills, handed it to me, and basically said, here you go, kid, beat it. So I did, grabbed the bass drum, headed for the elevator, got down. My dad and the other guys just coming up, and I had to tell him, sadly and dejectedly, tell him they canceled the gig. And my dad wanted to go up and argue until I showed him the money, and he said, well, that's it. They pay you. Gig's over. Let's go. And we went to our favorite Waffle House down by the track, and we partied like 16-year-old rock stars. The next morning, we're sitting at the breakfast table. We're reading the newspaper. The front page headline says, Martin Luther King assassinated. We looked at each other and kind of both said, duh, no wonder they canceled the gig. And
wow.
Obviously, he was, he was too busy making history to, come see our little rock band, I guess.
Wow. That's a pretty amazing story, actually. How old were you?
I was 16.
16 years old. Shook hands with Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon. I was disappointed, because I wanted to shake hands with Bobby Kennedy. That way we figured whoever won the election, we shook hands with the president. Well, turns out I did shake hands with the president.
So they had Waffle Houses back then.
Yeah. There was one right down at the track at 34th and Georgetown Road that was just blocks from the track, blocks from our high school.
Yeah, 34th and Georgetown. That is at the track.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, I miss Waffle House. I cannot believe we don't have them out here. And
oh, well, they're getting scarce now. They're hard to find.
Are they really?
Yeah, that was a hangout for the whole West Side, that Waffle House.
Man, it was the one that I used to eat at was at around Washington and the 465, like right near Cherry Tree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. It's like it was closer to Shadeland, like right around Washington and Shadeland.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I miss that. And my
open 24 hours, can't beat it.
No, you can't. And there's a band out there you need to check out in Indianapolis. A friend of mine is my old singer from my band in high school. His name is Jimmy Broom, Jimmie. He's got a band out there called Vinyl Richie. You need to go check him out.
Vinyl Richie.
Yeah, Vinyl Richie. You can find him on Facebook, Jimmy Broom. Bruhne, Jimmy Broom. But yeah, you need to go check him out. And when you go see him play, go, hey man, Jimmy Church sent me. He's amazing. Okay. He's an amazing talent. Listen, Tim, enjoy the rest of your night out there in Naptown, my man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jimmy. You're sounding good.
Yeah, thank you, man. So are you.
Bye.
Bye. And I will always take a call from Naptown. Just letting you guys know, Naptown, I see the big 317, and you guys will always go to the front of the line. And there you go. I've got to take a break right here. Okay, so everybody just be patient. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. 747-228-2051. It's Fade to Black, FADERNIGHT. If you're on hold, stay right there. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. Do you want to be an official FADERNIGHT? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, FADERNIGHT, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm here with Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fader Night. Open lines all night long. 747-228-2051. Your calls, your conversation, UFOs, paranormal, supernatural, time travel, conspiracies, whatever you got, we'll do it all. And apparently it's music night, but let's see what's coming up next. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Sarah Ann.
Hi, Sarah Ann. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry I had you on mute, and I wanted to call in and talk about music.
Okay. Well, it's music night, apparently. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, I got inspired because the idea of sound has been in my field lately, and especially after listening to Billy Carson. And I know you had the good doctors on JJ and Desiree, and they were talking about how pyramids were probably powered by lights and sound and even water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something that I'm really curious about lately because I get a lot of my intuitive guidance through songs, and I'm just wondering, because I'm not really a musician. As a musician, do you ever hear like songs that go around in your head and all of a sudden you realize that it's a song? You pick up on some sort of guidance that you're supposed to follow?
Okay. What was it called again?
No, I was wondering if you ever hear songs in your head.
I thought you named a song. You say okay. It doesn't matter. Do I? Not. I'm not sure. I don't know if I've ever paid attention to that. But now that you mention it, you know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Well, see, this is where I trip. Okay, and I'm not talking about Egypt as much, although this phenomenon is out in Egypt too as well. But when I look at the walls down in South America, specifically in Cusco and some of those ginormous walls that are there that are obviously formed. Those giant blocks were not carved. They couldn't have been.
Right.
There's no way. The way that they fit together, they're like they were malleable at one point, maybe soft like clay. Or was there sound? Was there something, activated that made what was hard rock soft? Right? Oh, I just made a music comment. Something that made a hard rock soft.
That was good.
That was good. And maybe the sound caused the stone to go soft. They had all the blocks, round or whatever on this wall, and then played something and then caused them to go soft and settle in and form into each other. And I think that's a possibility. Yeah,
I think that you're absolutely right. When I first kind of woke up, I was getting all these crazy downloads about how these ancient structures were built. And I was actually taught that it was done through harmonics, not just sound, but different toning, different powerful entities toning together. And that there could be a deactivation of certain structures because certain individuals weren't available to create the harmonics. So I'm really fascinated with harmonics and even the challenge. I mean, I think the ultimate reality show, just to bring it back into, today's world, is like with all the quarreling that's going on, I would love a reality show where like two people that were going at it, like public figures, had to come together and create a song together and perform it together. I feel like there would be no troubles in the world if people were forced to actually sing together.
Well, see, everything, Sarah Ann, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's diamonds or plastic, it doesn't matter. Everything has a frequency. And when that frequency is played, whatever that object is goes nuts. And, once in a while you'll be playing loud music in your house and one note will play and something will vibrate in your house. Only when that note is played, right? And that's what I'm talking about. And the same thing goes with light, too, as well, at whatever frequency. And if you are able to dial in on whatever that frequency is, things resonate. You're playing your guitar. I've got all these guitars hanging around me, right? Each one of these guitars, there's like one note that you can play on that guitar where you'll feel it through the whole guitar. The whole guitar just vibrates at that one frequency. And it's if there's a way to dial in on that frequency that loosens up the molecular structure of these rocks, and that the ancients knew that, right? Right? You know what I mean? They were able to dial in.
They levitate. These structures have to become airborne.
Yep, and maybe it's the whole village humming, right? Ohming at that one frequency, and suddenly I don't know, but everybody talks about them levitating these rocks with sound, and that's possible too as well. There's plenty of videos of sound levitating different objects, ping pong balls and things where you can levitate the stuff. And that's an obvious thing, and it's a proven scientific laboratory controlled experiment where they've done this, and it's all over the web. But, when you get into rocks and that structure, the molecular structure of rocks, is this something that the ancients knew? I don't know how those walls were formed, but I can tell you how they were not. They were not carved. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. That's it. Well, Sarah Ann, thank you for the phone call.
You got it. And maybe that's a project for one of the big next gatherings like Soul Tech, where you can get all the Fadernauts together to like harmonize.
Yeah, and start melting. Start melting rocks. That's a great idea, Sarah Ann. Thank you for that.
All right. Have a great night. Thanks.
You too. Thank you, Sarah Ann. That's a great phone call right there. I'm telling you, sound is sound is real when it comes to this kind of stuff. That's it. That's the only way that I look at it. And don't even tell me. Oh man. Okay, I'm watching now. Okay, got it back. Whew. That was weird for a second. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. I can hear me in the background. Don't make me do this. Okay, all right, man. I hate to do that. I really do. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Okay, let's go here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Damien from Hamilton.
Hi, Damien from Hamilton. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jimmy. How are you guys doing?
It's been a while, man. Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. And actually, I know it's been a while since I called in, Jimmy, but, every time I call, all I want to tell everyone out there is, we all go through hard times. There's always, it seems like almost like a domino effect. One thing goes bad and then another and another. But you know what? Hey, we're all going to come out at the other end. We're all going to be all right. What I always tell myself, Jimmy, like when I, find myself down or going through some troubles, stuff like that, I always think, on the other side of the world, Jimmy, there's always somebody else doing worse than we are,
That's a fact.
And, yeah, and it's always like that. So, I mean, let's not let anything get us down. We all go through some hard times. I just wanted to call in, tell all the FADERNIGHT, everybody listening right now. Stay positive, positive vibes. I miss you guys. I haven't really called in a while. I've been going through my own stuff myself. But you know what? That's not going to break us, Jimmy.
Nope, and it never will. It never will. And you're absolutely right. No matter what, especially, you see, this is the thing. If you live in the United States or Spain or Canada, United Kingdom or Germany or the Netherlands or whatever, wherever, if you're living in one of those countries, you've got it good. No matter how bad, no matter how rough, no matter your worst day is somebody else's best day that they are wishing for. And that's the truth.
Exactly.
That's the truth. I mean, if I remember my first revelation with this, and I went through a hard time with this, and this is like 1995. 1995, and I just had this vision one day, and I was watching some crazy documentary and something going on with kids, in some country, and I'm watching this, and I'm looking, and at that time I was going through some rough stuff, right? And and I was going through some things. Maybe I couldn't pay my bills, or maybe there was a car payment that was late, or the electric bill, whatever, and I was tripping, right? And I was bummed out. And I'm watching this documentary, and I'm thinking to myself, I live in a nice place. I've got 3 TVs. I've got 3 DVD players. I've got 3 stereo systems. I've got 3 computers. I've got this thing, and I got a new car. And I'm just thinking to myself, what right do I have to complain?
Exactly.
What right? I may be upset because my electricity is getting turned off tomorrow, but at least I have electricity that's going to get turned off. Right? You know what I mean?
Exactly, Jimmy.
And
exactly. I know exactly what you mean, Jimmy. And like I said, we all go through rough points in time, and sometimes we learn from them, sometimes we reflect on them, sometimes we react on them. But you know what? All we can do is move forward and be there for each other. And like I said, at the end of the day, family is what counts, being there for each other. Not, let's not put each other down. That's the worst thing that we can do. And you see, you just put me in good vibes right now, Jimmy.
See, that's right. That's right.
Calling into
that's right.
Just call it. I haven't called in a while, Jimmy, but you know what? To everybody out there, stay positive. We all get through it. We'll go through some stuff. I just wanted to send my shout-outs to you and Rita and all the FADERNIGHT. Like I said, everything, we all go through some stuff, but if we stay positive, we'll come out of this, Jimmy.
That's it. Damien, enjoy the rest of your night, positive guy. Thank you so much.
No, exactly. Hey, Jimmy, and thanks for, taking my call. And you guys, hey, fade or not, go back to Teppy.
Go back, Lee Teppy. Thank you so much, Damien.
All right, Jimmy.
I'll talk to you.
Thank you.
It's a great phone call right there. It's been, I don't know. I want to say, has it been a couple of years since Damien has called in? And he's probably listening right now. I'm going to say it's probably been a couple of years. And I knew his voice out of the gate. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
G'day from Australia, Jimmy.
Who's this? Which one?
It's Dexter.
Dexter. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Wait, come on, man. You know how I am. I'm talking to you. It's all good now. It's all good. How are you, man? What's going on out there?
Oh, look, just chilling out here in the beautiful Australian sun. It's a beautiful day, so no, I just I rang in because I wanted to share a story. I don't know if it's a claim to fame. When you know someone that becomes famous.
Okay, now I got to hear this.
Well, it's the perfect day for it, and I thought I'd ring in because it's FADERNIGHT day. So anyway, so my claim to fame is when I was about 9 years old, and I was starting at a new school, and I had a best friend who was starting at this new school with me, and he had a friend in our neighbourhood who I went to his birthday party on the summer holidays before we went to the start of the new school, and I met his best friend. And all our mums, we were all going to the same new school, so all our mums got together and they said, we'll organise lifts for us to get to our bus so we could get to the school where we were going to school. And so on the first day of school, I went out and I got in the car with one of the boys' mums, and my mate and these two young boys were in there. So I was 9 and these two, my mate was 9, I was year 5. And these two young boys were starting year 2 at the school. So that was 7. I think I was 6, turning 7. So one of them already turned 7. And we're sitting there and we're talking about going to new school. We're all excited. And I've said to one of them, I sort of said, I had a passion for acting. I was really interested in becoming an actor. I really liked acting. And because at the time I was doing theatre training at a little place down Pitt Theatre down the road from where I was living. And this young boy's piped up. He's going, I really want to be an actor. And I was like, oh, cool. So we sort of really bonded and we chatted about, acting and that the whole way to school. And so I started this new school as a private school and didn't know any people except for my mate. And so when we had recess and lunch, we sort of hung out with these two young boys and just chatted. And over the couple of weeks, so I started the first couple of weeks of school, I started sort of teaching, telling him all the stuff that I was learning at my theatre group, and things like stage left, stage right, and teaching him moves that we were learning to sort of do, like stage fighting and just little things like that. And he just had such a passion for it. He was so interested in it, and we just bonded over that. So I think for about 8 or 9 weeks, I had to catch this bus before I moved to my new place where I spent all of my schooling there, where Dad moved us. But anyway, so for about 8 weeks, we were catching this bus together, and every lunch and recess we were doing these, we were mucking around and trying to stage fight and putting on little shows and stuff like that.
Can I take a guess who you're talking about?
I know you're going to guess right. So,
well, okay. So let me get. I have no idea. Hugh Jackman.
No.
Okay, it's Chris Hemsworth.
No.
Okay, it's Eric.
You know, Jimmy.
Eric Bana.
No. So, do you want me to keep going?
Okay, man, you got me now. Wait a minute here. Yeah. Okay, Russell Crowe.
Oh, well, hang on. No. All right. So anyway, I moved, so I wasn't catching the same bus as him. And I remember saying to my dad, I wanted to be an actor. And he was asking me how the school was going and everything, if I wanted to change schools, if it was all right. I said to him I wanted to be an actor. I was all passionate about it. I've been talking all day with this guy. And my dad's like, oh, you don't want to be an actor. 70% of actors are out of work, and you don't want to have that disappointment. And anyway, I've gone to school the next day, and I've said to this young bloke, what my dad had said. And he's like, oh, my dad's really behind me being an actor. And I was like, well, if you've got that sort of support, if you really want to be an actor, I really think you can be a big actor, And he was a few years younger than me, so when I moved to high school in a couple of years, I didn't really see him much. But when he came into high school, I think it was year 9 when I was in year 12, he starred in a play called Bugsy Malone. He was a lead role with his best mate. His best mate was actually the guy that also used to catch the bus with us, so he was into his acting as well.
Was it Heath Ledger?
It was Heath Ledger.
Man, you're kidding me.
No, and because it's his birthday today, it would have been his 40th birthday today. I thought of ringing and share that little story with you.
Right. That's I wanted to save that to last. You knew I was probably going to guess that because it was his birthday, and I was kind of clowning around. But his acting is one thing, but I think that the reason why so many of us were affected by it because we all related to him. He was just such a cool guy, and obviously you knew him since. How old was he when you guys met? Were you guys the same age?
He was 6 years old. He would say because he would have turned 7 in the April. So we started in February at Guildford Grammar. Look, he had the biggest heart. He was the most loveliest guy. Yeah, I mean, you've seen his acting. You see, he has the most affectionate grin, when he smiles, and he's one of the first kids that he befriended was a young kid that had he had brain damage, and so he was a bit slow, sort of like the way he was, and kids would pick on him, and him and Heath and his mate, and it was sort of took him under their wing because they were in his class, and just seeing him like that with kids, and he was always so modest as a person. We're seeing him later in life when he was starting to get notoriety once he'd done 10 Things I Hate About You, and he really took off in Hollywood. Yeah, he was down to earth the whole way, and he was also an activist as well. He spoke out against things that he didn't. I remember there was a protest in Australia around the time he did Ned Kelly, and he was at the front line with a sign with his on the front line, putting his fame there as a way to sort of speak out, and use it for a positive way. So
how long did you have a chance to hang out with him? Was it all from obviously when you were very, very young, but did this go through your teenage years too as well?
Oh yeah, look, I mean, when we were in high school, because it was things are a bit different in high school, like your age differences and stuff like that, as opposed to being young in your younger school. But because I was sort of in high school for 3 years before he moved up into high school. So my sister was still in the prep school down. So I did see him regularly, and I would always talk to him and that. And he was one of the few people, because I sort of went through a bit of a hard time in high school, and was unpopular, and then sort of worked my life out and made a lot of friends. But he was always the one person that always treated me as me, and whenever I saw him, he was just a genuine person, and so I mostly just see him at lunch and stuff like that, and at sport events and stuff. But even after I left school, I went to my sister's ball with one of her friends, and chatting to him, he just sort of started out. He got a role in Sweat, he got a good manager. He hadn't got to the point where he'd got any recognition in Hollywood or anything, but he was already I knew right from the beginning, right from back when he said to me, I knew there was something about this kid. He was going to be a big star. I followed his whole career, so I was devastated when he passed away. It was a really sad event, but he did what he did. So he pushed himself really hard for that movie, The Dark Knight, and he was passionate about his work. So
yeah, when he and the whole Dark Knight thing. First off, the way that he died, and I think it affected all of us. Everybody around him felt there should have been something that, he's way too young, and there should have been something that we could have done at that point, because it took us all by surprise. And then you go and you watch The Dark Knight, and you realize mentally, because that character, he took things to another zone. He reached into himself and found something. He went there. And now we know how he went there. He put himself through some immense, intense mental places that you have to do to do that role.
He went to the darkest place of his soul explore.
Yep, and he found that dark place, and nobody was there to pull him out of it. And that's the tragic thing. That's the tragic thing. Well,
I think that's probably indicative of sort of Hollywood. A lot of these stars, they do push themselves, or even musicians, they push themselves, and there is just no one there for them when they reach these barriers and they fall down.
No, you're so right on that, and I'm sure that his death, must have, affected you personally, because you were there from the very beginning. The first conversations about being an actor, and you see somebody, have the career. He went to places that all actors dream about, because you want to be respected, as an actor, and he found that respect, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so young. So, like they say, the good die young. So. Yeah.
That's right.
But anyway.
That's right, Dexter.
Yeah, I want to celebrate his 40th, would have been 40th birthday today. And I mean, I have my own connection with spirits of the past, and he visits me sometimes. I know you shouted out to him, for his birthday, and because he's passed, and you did it last year. And, I know he's a big fan of the community and the truth. So, it's really good that you give him a shout out. So,
and it's out of respect, because I saw The Knight's Tale. So, somebody had told me about The Knight's Tale. Right. You need to go see it. So I went to the movies and checked it out. I didn't know who Heath Ledger was. I didn't know. Yeah. And the whole movie theater is just raucous, with all the music and the way that they did the movie. Yeah. And I was like, who is this cat? This Heath Ledger guy. Check this dude out. And I think we all knew after A Knight's Tale that he was destined for great things, and to have it end so quickly.
He had that charm and charisma about him. I knew it from the beginning. I just knew there was something special about him, and I knew if he followed his passion, he would get there. And there was even a point when I was in my early 20s and stuff, and I knew it was happening. It was taking off. I was even a little bit jealous, because I'd wanted that sort of career, that future, and that been that sort of my dream as a kid. But to actually have been there with him and to follow him and to know what he's been through and to just to just see him succeed on that level, it's just it was absolute honor to know him. So
Thank you so much, Dexter, and behave and be well out there. Thank you for the phone call, and thank you for sharing that with us on this special day. Thank you so much.
All right, Jimmy, go back Lee Tappy.
Go back Lee Tappy. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Dexter.
All right, ciao.
Fade to Black, FADERNIGHT. You didn't expect that call, did you? 747-228-2051. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com, dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm here with Jimmy Church. Thursday night. Fader night. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. Let's go straight back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, Jimmy.
Yes.
This is Jim from British Columbia.
Hi, Jim from British Columbia.
Oh, I'm on.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Okay. I called you up a couple of weeks ago about, I have a lot of paranormal stories, you know.
Right.
And they relate to native experience in my area here in around Sechelt, BC, right?
Yep.
And I have two more quick ones for you.
Let's go.
And then
I'm ready.
I relate them and explain. Okay, so one day I got on my little 4x and I went up in the bush, and there's a little road I like to go down, because at the end of this road there's a whole bunch of animals. Usually I meet animals there. So I was coasting down this road with bush on both sides, and the bushes are, it's very narrow. The bushes are ticking the mirrors on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm rolling along at walking speed, and I look away, I look back, there's a cougar right in front of me. And I think, oh, cougar, beautiful, right? And then I think, my next thought was, but it's not the right color, because it was darker, and it had like almost a bluish, purplish tinge to it. And I'm thinking, well, that's not right. Then I saw it was dancing, and I thought, well, that's weird. Cougars don't behave that way, but it was dancing in front of me, and its tail was going up and down in a sine wave, like a perfect sine wave. And then it turned around, it smiled at me. Now, by this time, I'd taken my foot off the pedal, and I was slowing, and it danced along with its tail moving, and then it kept turning around and smiling at me.
What?
And I was thinking, now, this is just not normal, right? I'm thinking, this is weird. And then it turned sideways across the road and went straight into a wall of green on the side of the road. So I got out of my car, and I walked up to this wall of green, and I looked at it, and I thought, where the hell did it go, right? So anyways, I just went home, and I thought, well, that was very strange. I will remember that. And that's all I can do is just remember every detail of it. But it was that slightly odd color, it's just peculiar. So anyways, I went home and remembered every detail. And then about a year later, maybe something like that, I was in bed asleep in the middle of the night, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I thought, I wonder what woke me up. So I laid very still and just listened. And I listened, I laid very still, and I listened, and then there was a tapping, one tap of a distinct noise, which I recognized as the aluminum siding on my shed, which is right outside my back door, which is near my bed. And I leave the door open a little crack at night, because there's forest out there, and I like to feel like I'm sleeping in the forest or something.
Right.
And I heard this one little tap, and I thought, okay, there's an animal out there. I got to get up very, very quietly and go to the door. So I got up, pulled my pants on, went to the door, threw the door open, and there was this huge wolf, all white, standing in my porch light, 18 feet away from me, looking right at me like it knew I was going to open the door, and it's looking right at me. And so I'm looking at this wolf, and I'm standing in the open door frame, and I'm staring at this wolf, and it's smiling right at me, okay? And I looked around the wolf. On a white wolf, you often have little patches of color here and there. And I'm looking around the wolf for any patch of color, but no, it was all white, and it was shining, right? And I'm just bringing in, absorbing all the information from what I'm seeing. And it's all crystal clear, K4, high resolution. I'm studying every detail. So then the wolf put its head down. It put its two front paws forward, put its head down to its paws, and wiggled. Okay. Now, when a dog does that, it means, do you want to play?
Right.
That's dog language, right?
Right.
And I thought, well, no. I'll just stand here. This thing was huge. Its back was as tall as a deer. It was basically the dimensions of a deer. And it's 18 feet away looking at me and smiling at me. So I thought, well, no, I won't move. So it does this again. It puts its head down and wiggles. And I thought, no, I'm not coming out and playing in the middle of the night with a 300-pound wolf when I weigh half that, and I'm just going to stand here and I'm not going to move, right? So I made this up in my mind. And then the wolf stood up straight and was shockingly tall, and it looked one way and it looked the other way, and it took off running, and it went around a corner. It's running on gravel, right? And it went around the corner and it leaned way over as it went around the corner, and then it accelerated away at an unbelievable speed. Everything about this was just beyond normal, paranormal. It was everything it did. Everything about it was just beyond normal, right? So it disappeared around the corner of my house, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to remember that. See if I can figure it out later, right? And so sure enough, some months went by, and I got invited up into the forest. As we often do here, we go up into the forest and sit around the campfire and tell stories, right? And this day, there was a native woman was going to come and tell us some stories, and that's great. A great opportunity. So I go up there, and this native woman was there. She started telling this story, and she says, "Oh, well, just the other day," I'll imitate her. She says, "Oh, just the other day, I was out with my friend, and we saw a bear, and it was a spirit bear, and we knew it was a spirit bear because it wasn't the right color." And she giggled, and then she said, "Oops, I'm not supposed to tell you that. Period." Now I put this all together because, you see, the Sechelt people here have their secret knowledge that they're not allowed to tell. And when she said, "Whoops, I'm not supposed to say that," I understood completely what she's talking about. That's the secret knowledge. The spirit animals are the secret knowledge, right? And then I also figured out that's what I saw. I saw a spirit wolf and a spirit cougar, right?
Right.
And according to their understanding and their knowledge, their knowledge is thousands of years old and tested by survival, and they call that a spirit bear, or spirit animals, right? So now I know what a spirit animal is. Okay, I know for sure. I'm very sure of this now. And I wrote some of my stories on the internet, and a native woman wrote back to me. This is a native woman from Alberta, saw my story online. She writes back. She gave me all kinds of heck. She says, "You cannot write that. That is the secret knowledge. You must never, ever write that out anywhere. You cannot write that down. It's a secret knowledge." She was very upset at me. So this is how I know I've got some of it right. I know that I'm only in elementary school when it comes to this encyclopedia of native knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only in elementary school. I know that, but still I've got it right, you know. So I carry on learning these things, and I'm reading a book by Franz Boas, who was here in my area in 1890 and gathering up the stories of the native people. And this is how I do my research. It's connected to actual experiences, you know, and I can put it all together and figure it out. And I have a bunch of other experiences also, which are even more bizarre.
Well, and
when I say
continue sharing those with us, but and I look forward to those when you call back in. But I find it interesting that both the cougar and the wolf were dancing. Right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? The wolf was dancing. He was, you know, and he wasn't aggressive with you, and neither was the cougar, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, very interesting. You should.
And the wolf thing.
Yeah,
the wolf thing fits with the Skinwalker Ranch. Same deal, eh? The big wolf.
Sure.
Same thing they had there, eh?
Yeah,
big,
yeah. What color?
Friendly wolf.
Yeah. What color was his eyes? Do you remember?
They were regular wolf. Just darker, probably brown. They were not glowing.
Right.
I've seen a number of cryptids and spirit animals. None of them had glowing eyes.
Wow.
Okay, I've never seen that.
Wow.
But what I have seen has always been crystal clear, not foggy. If I see a shadow moving in the dark, I don't mention it. Everything I've ever seen has been absolute crystal clear, you know, so.
Thank you for that, Jim.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And
okay.
behave and be well, and I look forward to our next phone call.
Good. Okay, see you.
Thank you. Have a great night. And a dancing wolf, let's remember what he just said. It was a dancing cougar, and then the wolf is out in his yard wagging his tail wanting to play. Or, you know, that's what dogs do. But very, very interesting that both experiences happened about a month apart. Very interesting. I want everybody's comments on that. I'll check that out on Twitter. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Bodan calling again from Toronto, Canada.
Man.
Other side of Canada right now.
Yeah, two Canadas back-to-back. A couple of Australias back-to-back tonight, too, as well.
Yeah. You're getting some of us from the Commonwealth Brotherhood calling you in. I got to say, it's a fantastic show tonight. You got me all through goosebumps to like thinking to reminiscing, and even with this guy from British Columbia. Wow, what a crazy story about the animals.
Yeah. The last time that he called in, it was pretty amazing too, as well. So, what's on your mind tonight?
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, if you recall, I've been calling you every once in a while to talk to you about my kind of awakening journey that I've been going through and all these new modalities that I've been learning. And just recently, I did some remote viewing, and now I'm focusing on the nighttime and i.e. astroplaning and lucid dreaming. And just wanted to get your opinion on that and kind of share some of my experience that I've had lucid dreams. Particularly tonight, my wife has gone out of town to take care of her parents' place. They've unfortunately moved into nursing homes, but tonight I'm kind of alone. My daughter's asleep, but I'm seeing all these crazy energy patterns in my room as I'm listening to your show, to the point where I'm getting goosebumps. I'm like seeing like lights and shadows and little mini orbs through my room. Pretty fantastic. But the reason I'm telling you this is I've been doing a lot of this lucid dreaming and astral planing, as whatever you want to call it, and wondering if you've done any of it and your experiences on
it. In what respect?
Well, just actually physically practicing lucid dreaming.
Well, I've had a lot of conversations about it. I haven't practiced it, but as everybody, I'm a big dreamer. I love to dream. And all of my experiences from dreaming, I've taught myself. The parts about actual lucid dreaming and going through the steps to do it, I have not done it. But this is what I see. You know, my style is different. I have a few different dreams, and I did it last night. I have a few different dreams that I access, and when I'll go, and I know this sounds strange. I can't speak for everybody out there, but I'll go and pick up in a dream that I've had repeatedly, and I'll go to that chapter that I want to go into, and I start the dream there. And I do it all the time. I have the ability to do it, and I love to do it. It's just like I'll go, okay, where do I want to go tonight? Well, you know what? I'm going to go into this. I'll give you an example. Okay, this is just one. I've never even talked to Rita about this. Okay, all right, because it sounds strange, but I have this dream that starts out at night in a field that has electrical power lines in it. It's covered in grass, and then there's a slight hill. At the top of this hill is a 3-story apartment building that has got 3 apartments on one side, 3 apartments on the other, with a stairwell. Okay? And I'll walk up the stairwell, and I'll go to the top apartment on the right. And I walk into the apartment, and I look out the window. And down in the field from behind where I started is a row of cars. Nothing specific, just a row of cars. And older cars, nothing new. just whatever you can imagine, Toyotas and Fords and Plymouths and whatever, just a row of cars. And then I'll look out the window and I'll pick out one of those cars. And then I go down and get in the car. Eventually, and I'll start driving. And I'll go and pick up Rita. And she will be at some place. And then we drive across the country. And we'll go to a city and we'll pull in and rent a house or rent an apartment. And it's like the craziest thing. And it will be now what the city is where we end up in is different every single time. We have rented places in Myrtle Beach, Atlanta, New York City, Cleveland. I think we've been to Texas. A lot of things in the South, New Orleans, a couple of cities like Miami. But we have gone back to Atlanta a couple of times. Why? I don't know, right? But and I am able to revisit that dream at will. At will.
It sounds, Jimmy, that just by what you've described, I kind of was picturing your dream in my head. It sounds like right at the beginning, if you symbolically, you said 2 apartments and you went into the right one, you went into the 3rd floor.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it for a second, 2 apartments, you specifically said right, like right brain, left brain. The right brain is your creative side. So maybe something in there that, the wires, maybe some obstacle that you're going through that day that you creatively needed to solve it in your right brain, because at night when you're dreaming, the right brain is figuring things out for you, is helping you solve those problems that you've had in the day in your dream time. And, the other parts with the picking the Toyota and the place, that's for you to interpret maybe an issue that you were having that day, and this is how you solved it, and so on and so on. Many ways to interpret these dreams, but that's the way you've described it. It's typical of what I've experienced, of what I've read about how your dreams and right brain, left brain thinking, and how all the problem solving, all your intuitive stuff is in your right brain, not in your logical side and your left brain. And the biggest problem we have in society, or at least in the teaching that I've been seeing, is, we're all focused on left brain. Left brain, like 1 + 1 = 2. Read this, study that, figure this out. But I'm seeing that because of, that not focusing enough or allowing our kids and ourselves to, be more creative. We've lost a lot of intuitive abilities. We've lost a lot of creativity that is unfortunately suppressed by the society, the way we teach our kids in school, and that manufacturing mentality that's so prevalent in North America and worldwide is, produce, get the numbers, get the budget, make sure you meet the sales forecast, make sure you it's all number, like how did the stock market do, how much money do you have in your bank, versus the other creative, intelligent side. Anyways, I know I went on a tangent there, but that's a fascinating dream that you're having that you can come back right into.
Yeah, I love dreams. Like I said, I've got a whole bookshelf full of dreams, and I'm able to just pull one off the shelf and go and have at it. And I do it all the time. And I don't know. I was just looking here. Rebecca says that she can do it. And she says, I know why I want to continue where I left off in my dream, and I can. It's freaky crazy that I can do that. And so I guess I'm not the only one. And Kelly Walden, who is our, our resident dream expert here. Need to get her back on the show.
Okay. I'll look her up.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to mention to you, for you to try, is these guided meditations for lucid dreaming. You put in the earplugs before you're going to sleep, and you just start listening to it, and they, kind of goes to sleep, and then you just, it turns off when the YouTube video is done, and that also gets into fantastic dream time too. If you ever want to try that.
Yeah, I'll check that out, Bona. Thank you so much for the phone call, man. The Great White North.
Yeah, awesome show. I try to listen to you almost every night, and I pay for it in the morning. But
I know, right?
I love your topics. I love your topics, and I learn something every night I listen to your show. I learn something new to be inspired by for the next day or for the next thing to research. So thank you very much for doing what you do.
And thank you, and happy dreaming tonight. Okay.
All right, I'm going to sleep now.
Thank you, Bowden. Behave and be well.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you so much. And now I'm looking. I've got to go ahead and take a commercial break right here, so I'm going to do that as I shuffle some stuff around here and say that if you are on hold, stay right there. We've got one more segment to go through. And everybody that is on hold, I will get to all of your calls. So just stay right there. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fader Night, open lines all night long. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
You are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the coughing tonight. It's weird. Weird. I don't get sick, so it's not that. Nothing in my chest. It's like that, you know, when you get that little, it's like, yeah, it's weird. And there's nothing that you can do. It's Fade to Black. It's FADERNIGHT. I am your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I want to remind everybody, I posted it up on Twitter here. Go and check out our Soul Tech official page over on Facebook. I've got the links up right there on Twitter. And go and hang out with everybody. That's what you got to do. Go over to our Soul Tech. It's called Soul Tech Official on Facebook. And while you are there, get your tickets. Get your tickets for Soul Tech 2.0 in Loveland, Colorado. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy. Which Jimmy?
This is Jimmy from Kansas City.
Hey, Jimmy from Kansas City. How are you, man? What's going on?
You remember the last time you saw A Knight's Tale?
Do I remember?
Man, that made me cry the first time I saw that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first time I saw it was in the movie theater. I've seen it so many times after that. I can't remember the last time I watched it, though. I'm going to say it was about a year ago.
So, yeah, like, I had a quick story. I always wondered what rock stars were like. And it was about 10, 11 years ago. And my sister was dating a guy who knew the dudes from Godsmack. They're like, hey, you want to come hang out? I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool. And I get backstage, I'm like hanging out, and like, this is really cool. And we get on the tour bus, and like, everyone's just sitting there playing video games. I'm like, oh, this is pretty boring. So, like, it's just boring, and finally they break out the tequila. I'm like, here we go. So we all start kind of drinking. I'm like, I want to say I was 17 at the time. And they're like, oh, you can't drink. I'm like, oh, come on, man. So they start letting me take shots of tequila. We go out to the bar. I pass as 21. By the end of the night, we're breaking into the arcade of the hotel that they were staying at. It was all closed down, and the manager kicked us out. And by the end of it, me and the bassist, Robbie, we end up peeing all over the lead singer's hotel door in his card slot because he was kind of being a jerk that night. And I was like, wow, that's what it's like to be a rock star.
Yeah, it's a good rock star story. It's about that's a 9 or a 10. That's pretty cool.
I was like, it started out so boring, and by the end of the night, we were so intoxicated, we were peeing all over Sully's door.
Well, see, the thing is, you got to wind down after the show. So, wind down and relax, and then it all kicks into gear. But there you go. That's a good story, man.
You got any good rock star stories of yourself?
Oh, man, I can't share that stuff on the air. I can't do that.
No names.
No, I can't. See, this is the thing. I was in the music business for so long that the story. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on. If I'm going to share a rock star story, I'll pull out a simple one. Let me do something simple. All right.
Okay.
Let's just do a simple one. This was at, I want to say, Tipitina's. Okay. I'm actually gonna share this. This is Tipitina's in New Orleans, and it's with Soundgarden. And we were in New Orleans for, I think it was 2 days before the show. So we actually had like a day and a half off, which never happens when you're on tour. And of all places, we do it in New Orleans. And so we partied for like 2 days. I want to say 2 days, maybe one night. And then, but the next night, this is show night. And we show up for sound check. And I remember Chris Cornell and at Tipitina's at the time, and if anybody was at this show, they'll remember everything I'm about to say. Tipitina's is 2 stories tall, and they have a balcony that wraps around the top. And I'm going to say this club holds about maybe 1,500. It's pretty big. But along the sides of the stage and up at the top is a chain link fence, so nobody from the balconies could throw stuff off of the balconies, right? So it's like a bird cage thing. It's chained in, but over the center of the dance floor was this beam, this beam that went across, and on the beam was a basketball hoop, a backboard with a basketball rim on it. And I'm watching Chris, and I'm watching what he's doing during sound check. He's looking up the chain link fence, and I watch him look down. The chain link fence reaches the beam and goes across. All right, and I saw it in his eyes. Now that was during sound check. Now it's night, and we're doing the show, and Chris, in the middle of the song, walks over, climbs up on the chain link fence, singing, goes across and now everybody on the floor, there's 1,000 people. They're all looking up at Chris, as all of us were. What's he going to do? And he comes over, and then he gets on the beam. And he crawls across the beam, and the whole place, man, there's 1,000 people looking up at Chris. It was insane. He comes across and gets on the basketball backboard. On the rim, he's still singing, and he's hanging on the rim like he just did a slam dunk. Now his feet are dangling above the crowd below, and everybody's watching him. And he starts bouncing on the rim. Now he's trying to tear the rim off of the beam, and he's bouncing it, and I'm watching it. I'm watching the bolts pull out, and all of a sudden, boom, he pulls the basketball backboard off of this beam and falls down onto the crowd with the backboard and the rim in his hand. And he floats across the crowd, man, with this backboard and makes it back to the stage and finishes the song. And I'm like, that's rock and roll. That right there, that is rock and roll. And there's a rock and roll story for you right there. Is that good enough?
That was pretty epic, man.
It was epic. It was epic. And anybody at Tipitina's that night saw what I was just describing to you, and it happened just like every word of it. It was crazy.
Wish I could have been there.
It was amazing, Jimmy. Thank you for the phone call, my friend. Oh, I think we lost him. Did we lose you, Jimmy?
Oh no, I thought you hit the button on me.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the button now, though. Have a good night. All right, man. And I just hit the button on him. That's a rock and roll story right there. And let's go over here. Okay, boom. I am moving stuff around here. Okay, so let's go. Oh no. Okay, all right. I'm watching this. I'm hoping everything just came back. That was weird. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. You're live right now. I can hear you. Oh. That's it. Boom. I just lost the phone system. I just lost all calls. So everybody that was there, I wish you could see what just happened. They went bloop, 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 all gone at the same time. Let me check over here. Are we still? We're still good. We're still good. Okay, that was bizarre. Let me see what's going on here. Is okay? All right. Okay. I don't know. I lost my phone system. Everything went down. Okay, so let me try this. Okay, calls are coming back in now. That was bizarre. I apologize to everybody. It wasn't me, and I know that there were some calls that were on hold for a very long time. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Brittany Lindsay from British Columbia.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
It's good. Another call from Canada tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's going on?
Well, I had an interesting experience a few years ago. I thought I'd share it.
Okay, go ahead.
I was living in a cabin by myself, far out in the woods in Powell River here. And I was at least 20 minutes or so away from any cities or anyone else. And I went outside to let my dog out for a pee, and I lived right on the ocean, and I saw a big glowing orb. And it was pretty shocking. I actually took a photo of it, and I found it, and I posted it in the sandbox just to show all of you what it looked like.
And which one is it?
And it's a photo of a big orange glowing orb.
Okay, I saw that. I'm going to pull it. Yeah, I'm going to pull it. I'm going to pull it up right now and take a look at it. And when did you take this? You said 2 years ago?
Yeah, maybe about close to 3 years.
Keep going. I'm listening.
And yeah, so I let my dog out, and it was right in front of me. It was about 20 feet away from me, just hovering over the ocean, and it was completely still. Everything was completely silent, not even an animal making any noises, and there's tons of animals out there. And it was just dead quiet, and it was pretty unnerving. But I ran in to grab my phone, and I was able to take a photo of it. So I took a photo, and then after about a minute or so, it just started slowly moving away and then over the mountains on the other island in front of me, and that was that.
How far away was it? In this picture, this looks like an enlargement, which is fine. How far away was it?
It was about 20 feet.
Oh, it was right in front of you. How big was it?
It was at least 3-4 feet in diameter.
What do you think this is crazy. What do you think it was?
I'm not sure. I mean, it didn't look like a craft or anything. It was literally just like a glowing orb, and it wasn't a flare or anything like that. It stood completely still in the sky for at least 5 minutes.
And then what happened?
And Well, it just kind of floated away from me over the ocean, and it lit up the whole ocean as if it was like a little sun. It was absolutely incredible.
Wow. It's a great picture, too. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It has like a circle inside the circle. It's kind of interesting. Like.
Yeah, I see that.
So, yeah.
Did it look like that when you were just looking at it? Was the halo around it, or is this part of, the picture?
Oh, it was like that.
It was like that.
It looked like that in person.
Wow. That's pretty nutty. That's pretty nutty.
Pretty cool. I'm really lucky I got a picture of it.
Well, yeah, the picture's great, but the experience itself, did it ever happen again?
No, but I live in British Columbia. I actually called a few weeks ago about the Sasquatch sighting.
Yeah, I remember.
I've had a lot of wacky things happen here. So, yeah, there are a lot of strange things happen in BC.
Well, thank you so much for this, Cosmic, and it's a great picture. It's a great experience, and I think more and more stuff like this is happening lately. There's so many reports of it, and I've experienced it myself, and I don't know what to make of it, but I'm hoping that we're going to be able to figure this out sooner or later, because I've seen way too much of this stuff, and I can't explain it. I don't know if it's spirits, if it's ET, if it's interdimensional, if it's something from a parallel world coming by to visit us. I have no idea. Tanette just posted a video. Go and check that out, Cosmic. It's right up there in F2B. Okay. It looks like the same thing that you saw.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great night. And I want to check this out really quick. Before I get to the next call, I want to see what Tanette's video is. And, yeah, Tanette's always got the good stuff. That's pretty cool, Tanette. That's pretty well done. And, okay, let me go over here. And let's see here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Deet.
Hi, Deet. How are you?
So far, so good.
How's your night so far? So far,
pretty
so
good.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's on your mind tonight? What does DEET stand for?
It stands for Down to Earth ET.
Down to Earth ET.
A very convenient acronym. Yeah.
Very convenient acronym. Now, and I'm assuming that this is not you on Twitter, your picture.
That's not me. I need to update the picture, but it is metaphorically a good representation of me.
Okay, I kind of thought that too, as well. The spirit is there. So, yes. Deet, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, an interesting thing was brought to my attention yesterday, I believe. There was this picture of a really, really small ET, and some people were asking, would it really be that size? It looks too small for it to be an adult. And it made me think that, people don't know what are the possible side effects of space travel, so I'll talk about them.
Okay.
And,
well, what was the is there a way for somebody I want to see this picture that you're talking about.
I wonder if I could link it in the chat. I honestly don't know.
Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, we'll see if somebody pops it up there. Okay. So the effects of space travel. Yes.
Yeah. So this is really funny. So some people may have heard, although this is fairly unheard of, that when you try to shine light on a 4-dimensional object, you get like 2 3-dimensional object shadows from it. And it's a really interesting observation because it shows that light behaves really weirdly for it to make like a 3-dimensional shadow of a 4-dimensional object. And also, we really don't understand 4-dimensional objects. And this relates back to space travel because sometimes when races come here specifically to Earth or our solar system, their projection of their body from their point in space to ours gets distorted on the way here because they don't adjust for the finer sort of differences that our corner of the universe has. So it can end with them being bigger or smaller. and I say much bigger or much smaller, and their atoms will still be the same size and, arranged normally. It's just that because bodies are also higher dimensional objects in a way, they can get distorted in our particular slice of dimension.
Okay, hey, Deet, it sounds like you're space traveling right now with the wind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Remember, the audience can hear that too. They might be able to triangulate where you're at. I'm just playing with you. Okay, so continue.
Oh,
This
no.
is great. This is great stuff.
And there's a couple different ways to space travel, because there's a couple different ways to punch holes in dimensions to make one place to another. The thing about punching holes in dimensions, though, is that it requires a lot of energy. It's not the kind of energy that you could get on like a plug-in for an electrical thing, and it's not the kind of energy you could get from a car engine. I wouldn't say it might, this is an approximation, but it might be like half of the energy you would use for a city grid for maybe 2 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of energy. That's why most ships that have been recovered in crashes have always had these crazy ways of generating this ridiculous amount of energy. It's because when ships distort dimensions to pass through them, the ship has to do two things at the same time. It has to create a space-time bubble in the ship that will be stable through the dimension hole, and it has to create the dimension hole. Most races can get the dimension hole part pretty well, but it's the space-time bubble that can be messed up pretty easily. The other interesting thing about space travel is that every race has to find a way of creating these, not like atomic clocks, but sort of like perfect timepieces, I guess. Because where their time flows and where our time flows here is different. They're related at certain points, but they have to know exactly how to make up for the difference in order to arrive at our time. Because if they traveled the normal way, they would end up thousands of years in our future. And, if they messed up the equations a little, they could end up 100 years in the past and, be right above our atmosphere. And it's funny because there have been times where aliens have come to Earth and they ended up a little bit in the past or a little bit in the future. But the ships can also time travel, so that's how they find their way back to the time that relates to their time now. And yeah, a lot of people have been asking if time travel is real or not, and it's totally real, and it's pretty easy to pull off. It's harder to pull off in a body because you need energy to punch holes through dimensions. And to punch a hole to fit your body through is much harder than to punch a hole that your mind can fit through, because your mind is really good at fitting through dimensions. Just on the topic of dimensions, someone was asking me, what's the word, about how to reach oneness, and I was telling them about how when you open the holes to other dimensions, there's some dimensions that your brain is already open to all the time, because people think that thoughts are generated from within their mind, and that's partially right and partially wrong. Your mind generates a portal to a place where the thoughts come through, and you can change exactly where you connect for different thoughts to come through, but at the same time, your brain does it passively. The thing about the left and the right lobe of the brain, or sides of the brain, is that they do have several functions that they share, but one distinct function they each have is they connect to different dimensions to give you different kinds of thoughts. That's why one side will be more creative and one side more logical. It's because they're connecting to more creative dimensions and more logical dimensions, respectively.
When you do this punch, and I find this interesting, how much distance is covered, is traveled, and how long does it take? Are we talking about, punching a hole and going from galaxy to galaxy in an instant? That kind of...
Oh, yeah. It's instantaneous.
And
You could literally, the time it takes to punch a hole in a dimension can be anywhere from 30 seconds to half a second, but you can actually travel back in time slightly as you pass through the hole, so you end up at that place right before you left the other place.
Right, exactly. Well, okay, so then you're not necessarily going at the speed of light, you're going through the hole that you've punched. So, So you're not necessarily traveling at these great speeds. You only need to punch the hole and get through it, and then you are where you're going on the other side, right?
Yeah. The mistake that people make when they think about space travel is that they assume that you have to move at this incredible speed. But if you move at this incredible speed and you're in this dimension, you're going to break a lot of stuff. Like if you just move through the atmosphere, you're going to leave this huge trail of fire because you're moving at the speed of light in this thing that is clearly not light. It's, it's smacking up against all the atoms in the air. So these ships are designed to move quickly, and they can. I'm pretty sure they can go faster than light if they wanted to. But most of the time, they just punch a hole through a dimension and pass through that at their speed. Because if they move their molecules here with that speed, it would not be the kind of space travel you want, and it would quickly wear out the ship in most cases. Some ships are made to withstand that, but most aren't. That's why when ships re-enter and exit the atmosphere, that's like the only time they slow down. They can move quickly in atmosphere because they'll be half in another dimension, but if they're like landing, you'll see them drastically slow down.
Where do you get your information from?
Well, a part of it is the Greys that have raised me. They've taught me stuff about ships, and a part of it is just common knowledge from the planet I come from. We're taught a little bit about space travel because even though not all of us are raised to be pilots, it's like a part of our living, or what's the word, livelihood. So we learn about it.
What planet are you from?
Well, as far as I can tell, NASA hasn't discovered it. It's behind this one star in the Leo constellation called Alligiba, but that's not the star that my planet orbits. It's a couple stars behind that one, or something like that name. And my planet is a small planet that orbits a sort of white dwarf-looking star. And on that planet, we're much closer to our sun, but we also have a much thicker atmosphere than Earth. So our atmosphere is like perpetually covered with clouds, and clear sunny days are actually pretty rare for us. So we get a lot of rain too, and our days are faster too. But it's a beautiful place, and we have a great civilization over there. Pretty young too. We're pretty close to humans on the timeline for civilization ascension.
So were you born on that planet, or that's where your ancestors?
Oh, that's my past life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was born and raised there, but then I died there, and then I reincarnated here.
I got you. Very interesting. So the age of your planet is about the same as ours.
Well, ages of planets differ, but our civilization age is about the same as humanity's now.
It's about the
I'd
same.
say maybe 200 or 300 years ahead, and on one line of comparison. Because we went through our civilization's awakening to the life in the universe around us, and we started toying with dangerous technologies too. We almost had this horrible historic period with genetic modification. But luckily some other races stepped in and showed us what a future with that looked like, and then we stopped doing that. And we started to work on technology that is, more in tune with the universe and the world that we lived in. So it's become a pretty beautiful place.
Now
we relate to lots of humans.
Deet, I've only got about 45 seconds here. What do you, when you hear other contactees or people that, talk about communicating or in touch or making contact around the world, what do you make of that? Is that part real in that?
Oh, yeah.
You guys are reaching out to others on this planet.
We are. I came physically to reach out, but, some of us still have our ET bodies, and we're trying to reach humans in whichever way we can.
Now, I'm looking at, I've got 15 seconds. I'm looking at the small ET picture right here, right? It's been circulated. Is this a real picture or not?
Well, I haven't remote viewed to see if it was real yet. I've kind of been sleepy.
Okay, all right. Well, remote view it, and then next week, I've only got 5 seconds. The network's going to cut us off. Call me back next week, and I want to know. Okay. I want to know if that's a real picture because it looks pretty interesting.
All right. See you later.
Thank you so much, Deet. There you go, Deet. Deet, the down-to-earth extraterrestrial. Thank you so much for that phone call. I just learned a lot. Right there. Very interesting. Thank you so much, Deet, and have a great night and the rest of your weekend. What another great Fader night here on Fade to Black. I want to thank everybody that called in. Look, I have a ton of calls on hold. I just couldn't get to everybody. I tried. I tried. Fade to Black's executive producers Rita Camarion. Shows produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2019 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I want everybody to have a great, safe, wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Billy Carson. Go back, Lee Tappy.